Hi, it's Jen. Today I thought I would pop on here and just do a quick video. Yes, if you saw my video yesterday, it was about hidden paper clips. And one of the hidden paper clips that I did is I did a paper one that was the exact same size as my paper clip base. And I thought, and I did say that I would do this in a later video, and so I thought I'd just pop on here quickly and show you what I did. So I'm in the process of making a journal, and while I was doing it I had to trim my pages, and after I trimmed them I was going to throw these bits out. Well, then I thought, I got my container that has all my cutoffs of tea dyed paper and what have you when I'm journaling, and so I use this. This is part of a cookbook. I did a project a few years ago using cookbook pages, and I kept the cutoffs, and so what I did is I got the cutoff and I did it to the width that I needed. So I cut it at 15/16 and I just left the length as is. And so all that I'm doing is I'm gluing and layering all these cutoffs onto a base piece of paper. So that's basically what I'm doing. So instead of throwing these out or shredding them or what have you, I'm gonna glue them onto a base piece of paper. You can even sew to do like freaking pages, but all I didn't bother sewing. I don't know if you can see this. I'll just try to do it up. Hopefully that the camera will focus. I didn't do any sewing, but you certainly could. But I did ink. So I'm going to get my inking. I'm using Ranger Coffee. And just because I think it does look better, I'm not going to bother with the ones on the bottom layer. So usually what I do is I do a bottom layer and then I put a few on top for my top layer. And so for the bottom layer, I don't really bother with, just because when I do my edges, when I ink my edges, it will get it, and then when I'm layering my top layer, it will cover the other edge. So I'm not going to bother doing that. And so all I did is I got my glue stick out, sorry, and I just covered the base of this with the glue stick, and then I just stacked on my papers however I wanted. And so sometimes when we're doing our books, we like to clean up as we go, and sometimes we're tempted to throw these bits away, like these cutoffs away, and like I was going to. And then I challenged myself to try to figure out, you know, what I could make, because they are quite thin and piddly, but it actually makes nice strips of paper that you could use, you know, elsewhere in your journals. So I'm just gonna, first I'll put on a thick one, and I don't worry about getting all these scrap papers the same thickness. I just use them as they are, and I think that's what makes your pages look so good and random, is if we just, and some of mine are not even straight, even some of the cutoffs, and so I don't worry about that either. I just use my scraps as they are, flatten them out, and then I continue all the way up. So I'm going to put, and then another thing I wanted to share with you while I do this, I don't try to cover all of the paper, because I know with this one, some of my papers were thinner, some of them were wider, and so what I did is I do my top and my bottom pieces of paper, and then a middle one, and then I'm just gonna see, and then as you put your top layer on, you fill in whatever space doesn't get fill in with the base pieces. I know sometimes when I do videos, I have I do them 2 or 3 times because my camera cuts off or whatnot, and so I forget what I say and what I've shared already. So half the time I feel that I've said things already, but I really haven't. So I'm just going to really press down to make sure they're flat. And then the middle piece, I have this yellow. Oh, I kind of like that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And you can even leave it, see this tea dye? That would even look nice if you just used it as a strip. You know what? I'm going to save that yellow piece for another one. And so for the top pieces, I usually like to use, this one is a book page, part of words. I'm going to use that for sure. And then this one is a picture of a garden page, and I'm going to use that one for sure. So what I'm going to have to do, actually, you know what? I have glue there. I'm going to have to put something there. But that would have been nice, wouldn't it? That's okay. Take things as they come, right? I just thought, I'm down in my basement doing laundry, and I thought, you know what, I'll make a quick video about that paper to get that up. Gives me an excuse to do some crafting. I've been busy making some muffins and whatnot in my kitchen today, so I kind of needed a break from doing that. This one didn't get stuck down, so I'm going to bring in my fabric tack just to squeeze some glue down in there. There we go. Because I want to make sure everything gets glued down really well. And I think what's so great about doing this is not only are you using your scraps, but you also create new papers for yourself to use in our books. All right, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I usually, for this width of, that all fits on there nicely. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do what I try to do is I try to put paper on the seams. So where these two papers meet on this seam, I try to cover that up with another paper. But because that one is kind of thin, I'm gonna try not to cover that one up too badly. And then with my words, I will try to put it more on this base piece because it is a little bit thicker. And I am going to use my glue stick again. All right. I'm also going to do a video tomorrow. I have some ephemera that I had done that I wanted to share with you. So, yeah, I'm going to try to get that up at a good time. See how that works out. Now your top layer, oops, the top layer I find a little harder to do because I can't see the edge, but that's okay. And I think when you do papers like this, I think it even looks great when things aren't straight and perfect, right? It kind of has that look of a crazy quilt. And for me, I thought that looked really nice on a paper clip. This would also look really good if you used it as a, just a decorative side of a page. And even if you don't want to use it right away, you can put it in your bin, your paper bin, to be used, so that way it was already, something has been already made with the paper scraps that you had, and then it's ready to go whenever you need something a little bit different, right? Whatever ephemera, different kind of ephemera you're working on or what have you. It's always good to, and then that way your desk gets cleared up too, right? That's one of the reasons why I was working on mine, is because I was getting to be, had a little too many scraps near me, so I thought, you know, I need to do something with these. All right. Then my last piece here, I'll put it down a little bit lower. And so this is all, oh, I know what I forgot for that piece. So the top pieces I do ink, but that one I'm too busy chit-chatting that I forgot to ink that one up, but that's okay. Different is good. So I am going to be working on a few more pages in my junk journal that I'm currently working on today. Now, I don't know if you are interested in me showing pages that I do. I don't know if that's interesting or not, but I can do that as well. All right. Yeah, I like that better. That adds a little bit of something, you know? You know what? Instead of using this glue stick, it is a lot easier for me to put a bead of glue using my liquid glue. I'm just gonna, and then that way I know I didn't miss anything on there, right? All right. Probably shouldn't. And I like to get different, ooh, I don't want that on there. That's pretty good. And there we go. And then all I do at the end is cut these little scraps. And I can make a couple more of these ones. And there you go. You have yourself a strip of paper. And with this one, I think I am gonna sew on just so I can see what it looks like. So I can get something a little bit different, because I don't want everything, these type of strips to be the same. And this, because you layer this up, it gives that paper like a good stability. It kind of feels like cardstock now, actually. So I'm just going to go off camera, sew this a little bit on here, and then I'm going to share with you what it looks like. All right, so I have it all sewed, and I just did a straight stitch all the way down the two front layers, and then one down the middle, and then that's all. And then what I did for this one, this piece right here, are these corner little pieces, and those are cut-offs from when I used my scallop punch. And here's a scallop punch. It's a Stampin' Up! One. There's like 3 punches in it, and this, I used this scallop punch, and then I kept the cutoff. So that's how I was able to get this little corner piece right here. So what I'm gonna do, I'll make one of these right now. So when you have one of these already made, I would just, so if one day you had all those, you put all those together, and then you can make a bunch of these up and have them in a container already. So here's that, and then the length you need it is 1 5/8. right, and for me, I think I'm going to trim some of these off, but I'm going to keep some. But because this is such a small piece, I don't want it to be overrun with it, with sewing ties. I'll just keep two. Here we go. There. All right. And I'm even going to show you all these cut-offs from your sewing threads. Keep those as well. I'm going to share with you one day what I do with those. All right, so this is already done. I'm going to bring in my ink again because I cut this side off. And then what we have, I'll bring in one of these corner pieces. I already inked it, and I'm going to glue it right down in the corner here. And I'm going to use my liquid glue. Just a little bit. It's a little bit quicker for right now. Maybe not. It's the only thing with fabric tack. I like that look. Brightens it up. I'll glue on this side. There we go. And then I'm just going to stick it in one of the corners. I tried doing a few corners using these, and it just didn't look right to me. You'll have to play around with the ones you have, like little cutoffs like this. And just kind of, because I'll show you. When I put another one up at the corner there, it has that weird bubble shape, but it doesn't look too bad if they're both down. Just kind of has like a tag shape, and you could actually do that and maybe sew them on and then keep little slits, and then you could put a card down there as well. But today I'm only going to glue it on the corner, and there you go. And then if you have, let's just say I'm making the exact same thing, I'll just put that over top of there. I should have some scrap lace around here somewhere. And cheesecloth. Any other time I'd be overrun with it, but because I'm taping, oh, that's okay. I'll go down to my source for my cheesecloth. I'll just get a little piece here. So I just find that making these paper scraps, once I started doing it, I was having it, fun using up my bits that I had, and I was able to reuse it again. So anything but with reusing, I'm in, right? And it makes it for different, something different for our journal pages. And over here I see a scrap piece of lace, which is nice. Okay, it's a little big, but that's okay. I'll cut it up here. And there you you go. So once you get those strip of papers done, you can make a bunch of, you could do paper clips, you can do, and there you go, if I sewed it all together. So that's how I created the paper for this paper clip. And I like it how it's not exactly the same. This one's a little bit darker, but you know what? I like that. I like things being different. You don't want everything to be the same, right? And so that is how I made that paper. So the next time you have some cutoffs, like all these cutoffs, you can put them together, make them into a different paper. And because I know all of us, we like to do collaging and stuff like that right now, but even these little corner pieces can be used into decorating our collage papers. Well, I appreciate you watching, and everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and have fun crafting. Take care.